Hi, my name is Rachel and welcome back to Auxhart Gardening. Today I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on how the garden is doing. Now before I get into that, I do want to say I'm sorry that I haven't been posting very much lately. It's kind of been a combination of a couple of things. First of all, we are coming into the winter season and there's going to be a lot less to show you guys until we get to seed starting in the spring. But also, just 2020 has been an incredibly stressful year, and I'm feeling that stress hit me extra hard recently, so I apologize for not putting out as many videos as I would like for you guys to see, but hopefully I'll be doing better with that going forward. Alright, so let's just take a look at the garden. So down here at the end, it looks very different. Previously I had my second summer beans here, and now I have pulled those out and planted garlic here in the empty area. And then I transplanted onions up here. And so onions and garlic will grow all throughout the winter, and hopefully I'll be harvesting those around midsummer, maybe earlier for the onions. So as it's been getting colder, I've had to pull pretty much all of the fruit off of my pepper plants. Within the next couple of days, there will definitely be a killing frost. So these are on their last legs. And it's kind of sad because you can see they were previously damaged, but not killed by a frost. And they're trying to come back. You can see this new growth right here. Peppers are trying to come back, but they are definitely going to die, and we'll see the peppers that we're lucky enough to come inside later, but right now I'm mostly just waiting for these to die so that they'll be easier to pull out. So in the meantime, the turnips have been growing quite well. These are some of the ones that I started inside and transplanted, and I thought they were looking pretty sick, but now that the weather has cooled off, they are starting to make roots, and I am so excited about them. Look at that one. I think these are bigger than my spring turnips as well. So we will have some turnips. Additionally, other root vegetables are doing well. I have icicle radishes right here. Those are probably just about ready to pull out. Let's take a look. I've planted them in bunches, kind of like what Charles Dowding does. And so you can see this one is much bigger than, say, this one. But once I've pulled this one out, that one will have room to grow. So I don't have to harvest them all at the same time. I've also got a few little stragglers here and there in the bed. We'll see what happens with those. I think these are more icicle radishes, yeah. Over here I have some black Spanish radishes. These aren't rooting up as well, you can kind of see that there. And these are the ones that I had trouble with in the spring as well. So maybe this is just not my variety to grow. We also have some French breakfast radishes, which I will be harvesting and talking more about in a future video. Because I realized as I was growing all these radishes that I don't have a lot of things to do with them, and so I'm gonna have to look into ways to cook them, favorite things to do, and then I will tell you guys all about it. I do have at least one recipe in mind that I feel like is very unusual, but is like one of the most delicious things that I've ever done with a radish. So also in this bed I have a few rows of carrots that were planted in between tomatoes. And this is the oldest row I have, and these are starting to kind of look like carrots. They're still pretty small down there, so they're not really close to ready yet, but they are looking pretty healthy. And I've got there's some smaller ones back there, and I don't know if y'all can see past even some smaller ones back there, so I'll have quite a staggered harvest of carrots over the winter, hopefully. Lastly, in this bed I do have some sad little kale that I planted from seed. So I have these, and I also have the kale that grew back after I tried to cut it back in the middle of the summer. And these look much better than the ones that I planted from seed, which are growing very slowly. So might not have too much kale coming into the winter, but I'm hoping at least one of these little seedlings will grow up into a big strong plant for me. Oh, there he goes, getting in the middle of everything. He just has to be the star of the show. I just noticed this, guys. This is the stem of a pepper plant that I cut maybe a couple weeks ago. And look, even this one is trying to come back. I swear, pepper plants are so resilient. Don't be afraid to cut some back if you're keeping them inside for the winter, because obviously they have a will to live. So up here we have the trellis, looking distinctly worse for the wear since it's been colder. You can see I've got a few beans left. This is my last noodle bean, and I'm leaving it to see if I can't get it to dry out and give me some more seeds for next year, because what am I going to do with one noodle bean? I'm also leaving some of these purple pods on. These have been so pretty. The flowers have been so pretty. And this has been such a productive plant that I really want to make sure that I save the seeds from this so that I can begin to start a generation that is not only already known to be productive, but beginning to become accustomed to my climate. There are so many of these though. This plant just keeps on producing and keeps on producing. I can probably replant this pretty early in the spring and have some really nice harvests. Look at that. And there's still more. And don't forget, this is a plant that was eaten all to heck by caterpillars pretty soon after I planted it. And it has not only regrown, it has exceeded my expectations for production. In my smaller raised bed, the sage becomes an ever larger percentage of it. It definitely is time for this to get cut back. But around it you'll see more carrots, a couple of radishes. These rows up here are supposed to be rutabagas, and only a few of them are surviving. They're struggling pretty hard. Some things found them to be very tasty. I might have to replant something else in this area or plant some more rutabagas, because these little ones are struggling really hard. But luckily the carrots finally look like they're doing really well. I've got several varieties in here, and I didn't have to do anything thinning at all because the germination was not ideal. But we've got, I think, some Atomic Reds, Uzbek Golden, I can't remember what else, probably New Kuroda. And there's the boy again. He literally has to be in every shot. So like I was saying, we've got quite a few carrot varieties around here. Not as many carrots as I had hoped, but I think I will have plenty. And just a couple of some more of those black Spanish radishes down in here. And volunteer onions that I must have missed when I was pulling up onions. We've got some over there, some over here. These probably won't be good for anything other than green onions, but still neat that they can come back. So in my greenhouse, I have my one Tabasco plant that I'm keeping to see how it does in the greenhouse over winter, and the bag of salad greens, which I've been picking from. And even though there were quite a few little seedlings that were eaten, there's still obviously a lot of salad green in there for one person. So I think I'll be just fine. And so here is what's left of the backyard garden. We have more peppers back here, but they are all in about the same sad, sorry state as the others. I definitely pulled pretty much everything I could see off of them and kind of just waiting for them to die. But my winter herbs are looking good. Cilantro is just taking off. I will be having cilantro probably all winter long here in this zone. I finally have little baby bits of dill. Spearmint, doing well. Oregano, parsley, thyme. So far, cold doesn't really seem to be affecting these guys very much. Stevia is still growing. And I have some extra onions that I didn't have room for to transplant. So I'm probably going to just throw those in containers once they're vacated by the peppers. Technically, I still have tomatillos, but you can see these plants are barely alive, and I wouldn't trust those tomatillos to really be any good at this point. I just never really got around to tearing those out. And if we look back, some of these pepper plants actually still look quite okay. Some of them didn't ever get frost damage with that first baby frost that came through. So let's see, this is my jalapeno plant. Still looks absolutely luscious. Although the serrano plant next to it, I'm looking very sad. So probably a little variety dependent what it takes to kill these guys. And back here you can see my cucumbers are dead as doornails. But that's okay. I got a couple of cucumbers before they succumbed to the cold. Last but not least, I did promise you guys a look into the peppers inside. A reminder, these are in my bedroom because A, I have a roommate, and I can't really be putting plants just willy-nilly everywhere, and second of all, I have a kitten who actually ate pretty much all the leaves off of this one when I tried to leave it out in the living room. It's pretty much all come back now. I think this is the only leaf that was original to it, and all of this has grown since it's been indoors. It all looks so green, and it feels just positively healthy. Like, I'm so hopeful for this pepper, and if you look really closely, you can see it's trying to make little flower heads. If I decide to let it flower, I'll have to be sure to hand pollinate that because there aren't obviously any pollinators in here. But all I have is a single bulb here set into a regular desk lamp. I'd have to look and see what the bulb specifications are. I can leave that in the description for you guys. But that's the same bulb that's in this lamp here. That's the same bulb that's in these lights, which are overlooking my other peppers. My Tabasco, it's just about finished ripening all of the fruit that was on it when I brought it inside. And when it's done with that, I'm probably going to cut it back for the winter and then let it grow up again. Similarly with the serrano peppers, there's just a couple more that need to finish ripening up, and then I'll cut down most of this foliage for the winter. And the reason for doing that is twofold. Reason number one is it's not getting as much sunlight in here, no matter how lovely these bulbs have been. And so it's not getting that much energy. And second of all, it's going to be a little cooler in here because I like to save money on my heating. And it's probably just best for these guys if I cut them down so they can kind of hunker down and use less energy over the winter. I've already done that to my cayenne. I finished harvesting from it and I cut it down. And now, I guess a third reason is it's going to grow back a bit bushier in the spring. You'll notice with the serrano and also with the Tabasco here, it's got a few branches, but they all kind of start down near the bottom and are pretty spindly going up. And if I go ahead and cut it down, the chances of it bushing out and being a little less top heavy are better. And I also still have my ginger here. I have been harvesting from it. I promise I will give you guys about keeping ginger indoors and harvesting from it soon. But so far it's been doing really, really well. And I don't think I'll have enough ginger to last all winter at the rate that I would like to use it. So I will probably use less than I would like to use, maybe supplement with some from the store just so that I can keep a plant alive and have something already growing to put out again in the spring. Alrighty, well, that is it from me today. Thanks again for bearing with me through these stressful times, through this winter. I will have more content for you guys definitely as we start seed starting, but hopefully before that. And just thank you guys again for being such a positive and encouraging community. I really appreciate that you guys come here and share your ideas and take the time to watch these videos and give me advice, because of course I'm still learning as well. So again, thank you guys, and I hope I'll see you again very soon. But until then, I wish you all happy gardening.